All right. And here we go. So, welcome to the Special Topics Program Fall 2022 seminar. Thank you all so much for participating this semester, and I'm excited to have you all here today to share about what you've learned. So just a little agenda. I'm going to do a quick introduction to the Special Topics Program. Then the groups are going to present. I'm going to talk about looking forward, what to expect, and then time for any questions or comments, and that'll be it. So just a little introduction for the Special Topics Program for any parents that may be watching. We are volunteer-based, and it's all university students from different levels. So there are a bunch of undergraduate students from Texas Tech, but there are also master's students, as well as a PhD candidate based in Austin. So we all dedicate our time, definitely unpaid, and it's totally worth it to get to work with the students. We have weekly meetings, and we all meet at different times. So it kind of just depends on the availability of the students and the mentors. And we have had international students and mentors in the past for our program. So I think we had 3 or 4 international students that were students last semester, and we've had a lot of international mentors this semester. So it's pretty great to have all of these different perspectives playing into our program. And all that being said, let's jump right into the group presentations. So first is the creative writing group. And Emily, if you want to introduce your group, or if your students want to introduce themselves.
Hi, yeah, I can do just a quick little introduction. We do have one of our students here today. Her name is Avery. She's a very talented writer, and so I'm very excited that she is here with us today. Our creative writing group was a lot of fun this semester. I think we read a lot of interesting stories, some really depressing and a couple kind of fun and interesting. We did a couple workshops with our students, and I'm not entirely sure what Avery is presenting today, but she has a couple really great stories. And the last meeting we had, we did a in-session workshop where we all wrote 6-word short stories, which are just literally what they sound like. So we had a lot of fun, and I will let Avery go ahead and present whatever she has. So go ahead, Avery.
Hi, I'm Avery. Like Emily said, we did these 6-word short stories, and so mine was "Butterflies are so cool, splat, so cool," just to be kind of funny. And then I did another one that was "Oxygen left since last war, 2%," and it was just something kind of sci-fi. We did a lot of different stories, and so I didn't want to have to read those to all of y'all, but like I did one about a cat in mines and another in fantasy, like prison basically. And like Emily said, we read a bunch of different stories and kind of just talked about them and what methods they used to make them so great. And I felt like it was a really fun thing. So yeah.
Awesome, thank you for sharing. And then Emily, do you have anything to add about your group, or like any comments or anything?
Well, I mean, Avery's the only one here, but I will just say I'm so incredibly proud of our students this semester. I feel like doing something like this takes a lot of courage, especially to come and like present it to a bunch of different people they don't know. So I'm very proud of Avery for stepping up and doing that. This group was so much fun for me. I'm excited to do it next semester, and I hope, at least they, our students said they'll bring more students with them. So I hope that next semester can be even better and more fun. So yeah, that's really all I have.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you all so much for presenting. Okay, so next up we have our Intro to Astronomy group and another Avery. So go ahead and take it away.
All right. I have some slides, so let me share my screen. All right. Let's see. Okay. So my name is Avery also. I'm a master's student in physics at Texas Tech, and I led the astronomy group this semester. So some of the topics we discussed include the role of astronomy in society, for example, why the government funds it, why we care about increasing our understanding of astronomy, and why or if it's useful for an individual to study astronomy. We also talked about the solar system, the moon and the sun, and exploration of the solar system, as well as how optical telescopes work, as well as various other types of telescopes, such as radio telescopes, gamma ray telescopes, etc. We talked about the life cycle of stars, how they fuse elements together such that we have all the elements that we see in our universe. They come from fusion that happens in stars, as well as what happens after a star has fused all of its material, that it can form things such as white dwarfs or neutron stars or black holes. And then we also talked about galaxies and exoplanets, the Milky Way, the Andromeda Galaxy, as well as exoplanets and the sort of things that astronomers are looking for when they observe exoplanets, such as habitability. We talked about cosmology, the study of faraway objects in the universe to learn more about the early universe. And then we talked about multi-messenger astronomy. So the main thing that we observe is light, but we can also see things or observe neutrinos or cosmic rays or gravitational waves. That's part of my research, is doing follow-up on gravitational waves. So that one is a particular favorite of mine. And so I got to learn a lot during this course, also getting to essentially have an excuse to go and learn the things that I want to learn outside of my degree plan. We talked about brown dwarfs. They are stars that have barely made it through the evolutionary cycle due to how slowly they burn their elements. We talked about the Great Debate, which was about 100 years ago, when scientists were debating whether the galaxy, other than the Milky Way, were small nebulae or if they were other galaxies. And when it was determined that they were other galaxies, our understanding of the size of the universe changed drastically. We learned about, or I learned about the Milky Way and just how detailed of an understanding we have of it, which is surprising to me since we're in it. So we have a lot of observing biases since we can't just look at it from an outside perspective. I also learned that NASA has some amazing web pages that I think everyone should go check out, especially for the solar system and for exoplanets. They have 3D models that you can mess with and see distances between various objects. We had a lot of fun with those. And then this group was a great reminder for me that science is fun. As a graduate student, I can get caught up in, getting good exam grades or whatever. But this was a good reminder that science is fun and it's really cool to learn about the universe beyond just getting a grade and getting a degree. So I'd like to thank the STEM and Leaf Corps, Anna, the other mentors, the students, and the parents for making this experience possible. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Avery. It's kind of cool to see like the mentors talk about how much they've learned, because also whenever I lead different groups, I learned so much about the topic, and yeah, it's just really fun to explore that with our students. Okay, so next is going to be the Intro to Python group.
Hello, everyone. My name is Anna, and along with Dulani, we were in charge of the Intro to Python. And at first, we started with the basics, like basic terminology, how to approach coding, and then we started to make them practice. And at the end, we helped them do a game. So we have someone here, Nathan, and if he could just share the screen and walk us through the game he made.
Yeah, Nathan, you should be able to share your screen now.
Let's see. Working on it.
Can y'all see it?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I was working on making a using Python program to make a trivia game. And it asks a question and then gives a couple choices, A, B, or C of possible answers. And then it will show you if you got the right answer or wrong answer. And then it will add score or add points to your score. And I did a couple sections. I think I did 3 sections of 5 questions and then a bonus question at the end. So throughout it, we learned how to use strings, storing information to strings, and printing for displaying it on screen, and different commands like if, else, and, or to make it do a process. And whenever the program is going, then you start out by typing yes, and then it will ask a question. Where did backgammon originate is my first question. So it was B, Persia. And so it added 1 point to the points for that section. And then you continue going through the questions. How many would you like me to show?
You can show a few more if you want. I'm very interested in this. I did have a question for you. How much did you know about programming before you joined the Special Topics program?
I did not know anything about programming with Python, but I did know some about programming with my calculator.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay. So I don't really have any background in programming, but like with Python or any sort of programming, honestly, but this is really cool. So yeah, if you want to show us a couple more. Okay. So that's what it does when it's incorrect.
Yeah. So if it's incorrect, it'll show that it's incorrect and it'll show the correct answer. And then it'll subtract a point for that section.
Okay, I see. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing with us. Did you have any like comments or like anything favorite that you learned during the program or?
I really liked learning how to use the different commands on Python to make different things happen in the program.
Mhm.
We learned about using it to solve math equations or using it we did different examples in class, different miniature programs of asking a user for their name and age, and then doing equations to see like if you're checking out for a ticket, if for a movie or something, based on your age, what the price of the ticket would be, different things like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. Anna, Dulani, do y'all have anything to add about your group this semester or any comments?
I will have to say that I'm grateful for the students that we had. They learned really quick, and yeah, I'm just grateful. Thank you. Thank you, Nathan and Sophia.
Awesome. And
They were really great.
yeah, go ahead, Sally.
And yeah, sorry. Yeah, they were really great, and we really enjoyed working with them throughout the semester.
And then Sophia, did you have anything to add or did you want to present anything for this group? I'm not sure if y'all.
It was honestly really interesting because I like have zero background in coding. So Dulani and Anna really helped me like understand what coding is used for and how to use it. And it was really interesting and I'm really grateful. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, thank y'all so much. Okay. Next up, we have the Science of Human Nutrition group. So let me see. I don't know if any of the mentors are here with us. Are there any students or mentors from this group, the Science of Human Nutrition one? So we're going to move on to artificial intelligence. I know that there was one mentor for this group here earlier, but he keeps getting kicked off. So Yush, if you want to introduce your artificial intelligence group, take it away.
Yeah, thank you, Anna. So I'm a master's student in computer science department. Initially when I took the artificial intelligence program, I thought what to teach to the students because it was such a huge topic. We cannot even touch the basics completely within a semester. So what I have done is I have taken a basics of each type of artificial intelligence topics like machine learning, deep learning, neural networks, and explain them how it will be in a real world. And even we have implemented 2 projects during our course of full semester. One is related to the facial recognition, where based on our facial expression, the program will be giving an expression saying that you are happy or sad. That is one program which we have implemented. And the other one is uh, Alexa type a virtual assistant. So based on your voice command, the program will identify what you're trying to say and it will give you the result output. Let's say you want to search for a song. If you give a voice command to the assistant, it will automatically go and search on the internet and open the song for you. We have implemented it during our program and it was very fun working with the students, learning about their ideas, what they want to become in the future, and what is their perspective for artificial intelligence. So it was very wonderful program, and there is a lot of interaction when we are trying to implement a program and trying to discuss it during the meeting. Yeah. Yes, Anna.
That's awesome. And then did you have any students that are presenting today, or if not, that's okay.
Yeah, we have a couple of students. So once mentors will be completed, then students will go.
Okay.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity for being a part of this wonderful program. So I even have learned a lot, understanding their ideas, and even I have learned a lot from them.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Thank you.
so much. All right. Let's see. So Nathan, you were a part of this group, right?
Yes, I was.
Do you have any any favorite thing that you learned during this group, or any comments on the group?
Yes, I really enjoyed learning about how to, very similarly to my favorite thing about the Python program, I enjoyed learning about how to store memory into the artificial intelligence program so that it can detect whenever you're asking it a certain question. Like with the Alexa, if you have a list of questions stored in the Alexa program, then you can have it recall the answers or search on the internet whenever one of those commands is stated. I really liked learning about how to use our artificial intelligence to learn to adapt its working to make it better and faster as it goes, or to detect, like with the facial expressions, detect other different types of facial expressions or other ways that people might show the facial expression.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, and then Brandon, did you have anything to add about this group or any of your favorite experiences as well? If not, that's okay.
I did enjoy learning about the different Python data structures.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so a little input from both of y'all. That's great. Okay. I think that, and then you had Savannah as well, but she's not here. So yeah, thank you so much, Artificial Intelligence Group. So the last group that we have is Controlled Substances and Public Health. So Sharuthi started this program and I kind of joined as a co-mentor for it. And it's been really fun teaching this group because I have no background in controlled substances or public health. So it was a lot of research and a lot of learning for me. But Will, if you would like to share your screen, you can go ahead and present for our group.
Okay, sure thing. Can everyone see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, so let me put it in presentation mode and all that. So basically, our group, like Anna said, was controlled substances and public health. And during our semester, we were basically studying and researching opioids in the United States and these controlled substances. And then we were doing a little project. So this is what I'm going to be presenting to you guys today. So at the beginning of the semester, I decided to do research on oxymorphone, which is a Schedule II opioid drug. So first of all, here, let me give a little background on opioids and oxymorphone. So oxymorphone is a semi-synthetic opioid, meaning that it's created in labs from other natural opioids, meaning that in labs, scientists take natural opioids from, for example, codeine or from opioids from like plants and everything, and they just manufacture it into a semi-synthetic opioid. And so oxymorphone is used as a pain-relieving CNS depressant or central nervous system depressant. And so it is a pretty addictive opioid because it gives us strong sensations of euphoria and relaxation. And when compared to other opioids to see how potent it is, in a trial comparing it to oxycodone, morphine, and hydromorphone, oxymorphone ranked highest in drug liking by the patients and also respiratory depression. So here are some side effects that are included when you take oxymorphone. So some of them can be moderate, such as stomach pain, vomiting, headache, or feeling anxious or confused. But of course, there are the more severe side effects of taking these drugs, which are seizures, hallucinations, changes in heartbeat, loss of appetite, etc. So then I was doing more research on oxymorphone ER, also known as the brand name Opana. And then I found out that it was actually removed from the market during around the 2015-2016 time. And so this was because the FDA saw it as a large risk related to abuse. And this was rooted in the use of oxymorphone. So it shifted from being shifted from being taken nasally to then injected by syringes. So then this posed very different problems because, first of all, using non-sterile syringes poses a problem to everyone taking this drug. So then this caused outbreaks in HIV and hepatitis C. So HIV, just to give you all a quick background about it, it just damages the immune system and it interferes with the body's ability to fight infection and disease. And hepatitis C is an infection caused by a virus that attacks the liver and leads to inflammation. So these were really serious problems which the FDA saw in when patients and persons in the US were using oxymorphone. And then also another risk related to abuse of oxymorphone was thrombotic microangiopathy, which is when there are blood clots in capillaries and arteries. And then this poses problems because, first of all, it causes the destruction of red blood cells and low platelet counts. And then furthermore, this can cause organ damage. So when the FDA was researching this drug and saw all these risks related to abuse, they said the best thing to do is to remove this drug from the market to these terrible situations from developing. So then I found a case in Indiana which kind of highlighted these risks related to abuse of oxymorphone. So it was in a small county in Indiana of around 17,000 people. And so there was a huge HIV outbreak with 181 patients. And then out of these 181 patients, 87.8% of them reported that they were injecting themselves with unclean syringes of oxymorphone ER. So oxymorphone ER is extended release, which means that it's a type of oxymorphone that gets into your body slowly, meaning that it'll last longer, the effects of it. And then 92.3% of the patients who were infected with HIV because of this oxymorphone usage were also reported to have hepatitis C. So then this case in Indiana came to the conclusion that this injection drug use of the oxymorphone within this network of people in the community was leading to a rapid transmission of HIV and to hepatitis C. So they decided then this is like what the FDA then based their decision off of. So then Anna wanted us to do more research besides just what's happening in the US, but also what the opioid does in our system. So first of all, this opioid oxymorphone affects the mu opioid receptors, which are responsible for affecting pain relief or euphoria and relaxation. And many studies call the mu receptor as the gateway to drug addiction, meaning that if you overload this receptor, a person's really likely to become addicted to the drug. And so the activation of the mu receptors then causes, for example, respiratory depression, nausea, vomiting, euphoria, and then causes some withdrawal symptoms, which I'll be talking about next. So then I found another study that was conducted on persons with chronic back pain, because oxymorphone was, when it wasn't on the market, it was used to treat people with chronic back pain. And so persons after taking Opana ER or oxymorphone extended release for a certain amount of time, these stabilized patients were then randomized into either a placebo group or an Opana ER stabilized dose for the second part of the trial. And so these persons were then injected with either placebo or with the Opana ER, and then for 12 hours for a 12-week double-blind period. And then the case just showed that persons who were in the placebo group were experiencing significantly more pain because of this withdrawal, and then the people who were on a more stabilized lower dose of oxymorphone didn't experience as much pain. So then you can come to the conclusion that the best way to prevent these significant withdrawal symptoms would be reducing the dose gradually of oxymorphone over time. And then I think this is my final slide. So how quickly can one become dependent on oxymorphone? So just to say in general, opioids are very addictive, as as our group saw when we were doing research on this. So I found a study by the United Nations just quickly comparing morphine, oxymorphone, and anilridine, which is another type of opioid. And so then patients developed tolerance to each of these drugs during the period of observation during the study, but there was much more greater tolerance towards oxymorphone. And also at the end of the trial, the scientists performing the trial were able to notice that it took 2 to 4 weeks for persons to become more dependent on morphine, but about 4 weeks for persons to become dependent on oxymorphone and the other opioid, meaning that oxymorphone does take a longer time for a person to become dependent on. But of course, to any opioid, there are many consequences of extended use. For example, with extended oxymorphone usage, this can then cause mental and physical dependence, where a person is unable to operate as they used to, and they have this urge to always need to have this drug to act normally in a setting. And without this drug, they would become depressed. They shut themselves out from friends and families and all of that. So that's something else we talked about in our group. But that's all I have for today. So thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, it was a very interesting group to a very interesting topic to study as well. And then Sophia, would you like to share?
Yes. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so I did fentanyl. So fentanyl is a Schedule II prescription drug, and it's usually used to treat patients with severe pain, especially after surgery. It's also sometimes used to treat patients with chronic pain who are physically tolerant to other opioids. So just a quick background, it was invented in 1959 by the Belgian chemist, Dr. Paul Janssen. He and his team first synthesized this drug by experimenting with the chemical structure of an analgesic known as pethidine or Demerol. He was hoping to find an alternative to morphine, which was like the most common pain reliever at this time, and he came upon fentanyl. So fentanyl is an intravenous surgical analgesic, meaning that it's inserted into the veins, and nowadays, it's also used as an intramuscular surgical analgesic. Analgesic just means used to relieve pain. So at first, fentanyl was only used in hospitals during operations or on larger animals. And in 1968, it was approved for medical use in the United States. So it's a synthetic opioid that's highly addictive due to its strong potency. So it's 50 times stronger than heroin and 100 times stronger than morphine. There are two types. There's pharmaceutical fentanyl, and there's also illicitly manufactured fentanyl, which just means like illegally manufactured. And since it's highly potent, just 2 milligrams can be fatal. So some short-term effects are euphoria, sedation, confusion, drowsiness, respiratory depression, pupillary constriction, vomiting, urinary retention, and pain relief. Some long-term effects are excessive tiredness, fractures in the elderly, heart attacks, heart failures, anxiety, depression, hormonal issues, breathing problems, bowel obstruction, and immune system suppression. And then just for the effect on the brain, so fentanyl induces a rapid dose-dependent decrease in NAC oxygen followed by a prolonged increase in NAC glucose. And brain hypoxia is a generalized phenomenon. And here, here I included an image, the brain scan, and it shows how fentanyl can actually cause hippocampal ischemia, which is the lack of blood flow to the hippocampal regions, which is obviously detrimental. And then some withdrawal symptoms, since it's highly potent, withdrawal symptoms are especially strong. So it can cause dysphoric mood, intense cravings for more fentanyl, obviously nausea, vomiting, insomnia, sweating, dilated pupils, aching muscles, and fever. And here, between 2020 and 2021, overdose deaths involving opioids has rose dramatically by 38.1%. And then overdose deaths involving synthetic opioids, primarily fentanyl, which is at a rise, rose 55.6%. So these appear to be the primary drivers of the increase in total drug overdose deaths. And the reason why drug overdoses have increased so much during this time is because during COVID, mental health issues due to isolation were at an all-time high, which led to many people resorting to substance abuse just to cope. And then if you're witnessing an overdose, some signs of fentanyl overdose, some signs are slowing of heart rate and breathing, pupils becoming small or constricting, and then lack of response when talked to, and just like a limp body overall. So obviously you need to call 911 immediately. And then if you have naloxone, you administer that, which is the brand name for Narcan. And naloxone comes in the form of a spray, so you just spray it into one nostril. And this causes the victim to vomit, to just get rid of as much fentanyl as possible. So you have to make sure they're in a safe position to vomit. And these are my citations. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. Great job.
Thank you.
All right. So I'm gonna share again. Okay, so let's see. Looking forward, for the students, we'll have certificates for y'all around mid-December. It's really just as soon as the secretary and vice president get them done, but be looking for those in your emails. The spring program, we will have in-person, hybrid, and online groups. So it's the first time since we've started the program that we'll have all of these options. So that's very exciting. And students, if you're interested in joining, I'll email you in mid-January since you've already participated in the Special Topics program. And that's when applications will open. And mentors, if you're interested in mentoring again, applications are open now. So we just have a couple minutes left. Does anyone have any questions or comments or anything about the program? All right. Well, in that case, thank you all so much for attending our seminar. I hope you all have a great winter break, and I hope to see some of you back next semester.
Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Nathan. Y'all have a great evening, and well, I
Thank
guess
you.
Yep. Bye.